It helps if I turn the camera on. I just recorded the whole thing, wasn't recording. Or I thought I was recording the whole thing. Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about my top 10 favorite guitarists. Okay, so this isn't going to be a list of who I think are technically the top 10 best guitarists of all time, but instead it'll be guitarists who I listened to the most growing up and the ones that have had the most influence on my own playing. Also, this list isn't necessarily in order, except for the player in number 1. He will always be my number 1 pick. But the other 9, they're just in my top 10. They're not necessarily in any order. And obviously, this is my list. It's not going to match your list, so be sure to let me know in the comments below who some of your favorite guitar players are. There's so many great players out there, and I can only pick 10 for this list, so I'm sure I'll leave someone out. Real quick before we get to the list, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Also, check out my other channel, Bruce Butler Gaming, and also head over to twitch.tv/Bruce Butler for my streams. Okay, on with the list. Number 10, Mark Tremonti. You mean that guy from Creed? Yes, the guitar player from Creed. I know Creed was like the 90s Nickelback. Everybody loved to hate him. I think that's mostly Scott Stapp's fault, though. Can you take me high? Anyway, even in Creed, Mark had some really good guitar parts and even a few solos. What I always heard was that Scott didn't really like Mark's playing style, so Mark didn't get to show off his talents like he wanted to. However, I think Mark is one of the best modern rock guitarists out there. If you don't believe me, check out his work in his band Alter Bridge and also his solo project Tremonti. He's an incredible songwriter, and he's a great example of shred mixed with feel. Number 9, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay, again, this list is not in any order, so don't get upset if you think Stevie should be higher on the list. He was an incredible blues guitarist. I remember the first time I heard Pride and Joy. I was just really getting into guitar playing, so once I heard that song, I needed to hear more from him. So I went out and I bought the Essential album with Double Trouble and was blown away. I think for the next 6 months or something, I just played that album on repeat, just over and over. Tragically, although his music lives on, Stevie Ray Vaughan was taken away from us too soon. He was killed in a plane crash on August 27th, 1990 at the age of 35. Number 8, Eddie Van Halen. Do I even really need to explain why he's on my list? If you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you had any interest in playing the guitar, I think it's safe to say that you wanted to play like Eddie Van Halen. He's been such a huge inspiration for guitarists that grew up in that generation, and I feel like a lot of guitarists my age would say that he's one of the reasons they started playing in the first place. Number 7, Joe Satriani. Joe was one of the first real instrumentalists that I listened to. Of course, some of his songs do have vocals in them. Most of his songs are centered around the guitar. He's a great mixture of rock and blues. He's an extremely technical player, but not so much that it's boring to listen to. I think music loses its value if the player is just trying to show how fast they can play. Although Joe plays some very technical and difficult things, he makes it fun to listen to and never loses the feel of the music, which I think is the most important thing. Also, he's just so damn cool. I mean, look at him. Number 6, Dimebag Darrell. Another guitarist that was taken away from us too soon. Unfortunately, he was murdered on stage on December 8, 2004 by a deranged fan. However, he left behind an incredible library of music. He was one of the driving forces behind groove metal and has a very distinct southern sound to his playing. For some of his great work, check out Cemetery Gates, Floods, Cowboys from Hell, and The Great Southern Trendkill. Number 5, Neil Schon of Journey. I'm a sucker for 80s pop rock. So when a band takes that and adds soaring guitar solos, count me in. Neil is the perfect combination of technique and soul. I think if you're going to have a solo in a song, it should improve the song. It shouldn't just be a time for the guitarist to show how many notes he can play. And I think Neil balances this perfectly. It's no doubt that he can shred, but he knows when to do that and also knows when to hold back some and just let his guitar sing. Check out his solos in the songs Faithfully, After All These Years, and Who's Crying Now. Number 4, David Gilmour, Pink Floyd. David is a great example of less is more. He's not a shredder by any means, but you can feel his guitar solos. If I had to pick one guitar solo that I wish I could say that I wrote, it would be the end solo for Comfortably Numb. Hands down. That solo is perfect. Check out anything from Pink Floyd, you will not be disappointed. Number 3, Andy James. This guy right here is one hell of a guitar player. He's an absolute beast of a shredder, but somehow never loses the feel of the music. I would describe his style as aggressive yet melodic. I love his songwriting technique, and although his playing is extremely technical, because of his writing style, you can still almost sing his guitar melodies. His newest album, Arrival, is amazing. Check it out. Number 2, Kirk Hammett of Metallica. Okay, I know this guy gets a lot of hate because of his somewhat sloppy technique and overuse of the wah pedal, but he's one of the reasons that I started playing guitar, so he's always going to make my list of top 10 guitarists. Metallica has always been such a huge influence in my own playing. Even though some people may say now that Kirk's playing is sloppy and dated, no one can deny that he wrote some badass solos back in the day. Just listen to anything off Metallica's first 4 albums. And number 1, John Petrucci of Dream Theater. Dream Theater has been around since the eight ladies. Since the 8 ladies. Dream Theater has been around since the late 80s, but I got a late start listening to them. The first album of theirs that I heard was 1999's Scenes from a Memory. John immediately became my favorite guitarist and has stayed at the top since then. He's an absolute guitar virtuoso, from his chuggy metal-style riffs to his insanely fast and precise lead sections, and my personal favorite, his emotional, soaring guitar solos that are typically used to finish out a song. He's the total package. To top it off, John is an incredibly humble and down-to-earth dude. He's also an accomplished instructor and is always willing to help fellow guitarists reach their full potential. I could literally name almost anything from the Dream Theater catalog, but for some of John's best work, listen to The Spirit Carries On, The Best of Times, Under a Glass Moon, and my all-time favorite, The Count of Tuscany. The last half of that song is some of the best music that I've ever heard. Alright, that's my list. Let me know in the comments who some of your favorite guitarists are, and also some other top 10 lists that you'd like to see. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. With arms wide open!